we've got an extension for 1 year on the farm bill. I think 2024 is going to be a wild ride to figure out what is this going to look like. I wonder, what's your observation of the micro ecosystem that we're all working in, and the division amongst the plant community, and what solutions that you'd like to see come out of legislative activity in 2024.
Yeah, well, I think I mean, you sort of hit the nail on the head as to where we are and what we're likely to see. So I'll start by saying I'm an advocate and an attorney for cannabis. It's one plant, right? It's not like people say, oh, it's two different species. It's not. It's one plant, and we have an arbitrary line distinguishing between what's a controlled substance and what's not controlled at all, and it's absolutely arbitrary. And so I think it's no it's no big secret that I represent primarily hemp companies and that I really am sort of an advocate for the hemp side. But I want to be clear, that's not because I'm anti-marijuana or anti the plant or anti-business and everything else. It's because I'm a cannabis advocate. And to get to your question, the way that I see legalization, broad scale legalization happening, is through sort of the hemp path, through the farm bill. And I think, frankly, the regulated system of marijuana is broken, and it's understandable how it arose historically. It had to come through states to begin with. I think because of the acceptance at the federal level, we still have trouble passing, basic bills like the Safe Banking Act and things like that. And so it really had to come up through the state system. And I think it was sort of an unknown quantity, and I think people were willing to concede a lot in order to get this ball rolling. And so it's understandable how it came through, but it's absolutely broken. I mean, there's no need for something like metric. There's no need for onerous taxes. There's no need for onerous regulations. There's a need for some systematic regularity and some regulations that make sense that we could talk about, later on if you want to. And there's a need for businesses to be able to operate interstate and, in fact, even internationally as the globe begins to turn on to cannabis legalization. And there's a need for broad access, both for the consumer and also for business folks. We don't want to create an industry where a small handful of super capitalized multinational corporations control an entire market, and where consumers don't have much of a choice, and a lot of consumers are left out. So all that is to say, that is why I promote hemp. It's not because hemp is a different plant or whatever. It's because it's where cannabis reform is happening. And so what do I see going forward? I think you're right. 2024 is going to be a really big year in a lot of ways for cannabis. It may be the biggest year we've had in 100 years. I mean, truly, because all of these things are coming together. And the vision that I have is a vision where hemp really truly normalizes, where the hemp operators are able to expand and grow, where marijuana operators are able to expand and to grow and to pivot into hemp and embrace that. And the regulators are not shoved aside. The regulators are brought into the whole fold. And we say, look, here's what we need. We need to, I guess I'll just jump into it. Sorry, with regulations, we need age gating. I think everyone agrees with that. We need quality control. When I go to the grocery store or the pharmacy or whatever, and I want to buy a dietary supplement or a food or whatever, I want to know at a baseline that it's safe, and it's not going to harm me. And we need those kind of controls, and we need labeling controls, so that the consumer knows what he or she's getting. And those are things that everyone can agree to. When we get into how much a tax should be and how people can disagree about those types of things, but I think we need to scale back and step back and say, wait a second, the supermajority of Americans want cannabis reform and want to use these products. And a lot of people want to get involved from a business standpoint. Let's just make that happen. So anyway, that's what I see happening. Unfortunately, if only it was that easy. We're looking at litigation and lobbying efforts and disputes and fracturing of the industry. And I think that's unfortunate, but it just is where we are.
Well, I think you said it 100% correct, and I agree with you. I think some of the roles of advocates like you and I are to find the bridges between
Mm-hmm.
that single plant community, and to bring everybody back around that this is a good thing for the whole industry when hemp succeeds. It's not a bad thing for regulated marijuana, and vice versa. It's not a bad thing for hemp when regulated marijuana succeeds,
Sure.
broadly speaking.